how he did it. He started screaming and that spot was on his cheek.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of leaning on the back of it.
I accidentally hit the start show button while I was trying to get it into its case. So, show's on. We're live. Microphone's not plugged in yet, though.
Got teas all over my cape.
I think we're ready to go.
I'm not sure how I did that.
Snot, Roxanne. It's snot. Okay, we're live a little early, but that's okay. Just give everybody time to show up.
Doesn't seem like you're live on Twitch yet.
Twitch has to buffer.
That's fine. You can buy more.
There it is.
What is that? What is it? Scares. So, when we were at Annie's house, he decided to let everyone know that he was happy with his Christmas presents. He wasn't going to smile or laugh or play with them. He was just going to hold them and, what's the word?
Growl.
Growl.
Oh gosh.
It was great. He just
Over and over to.
That's too funny.
I forget to pick up the stuff we dropped. I'm sorry.
He was overwhelmed with primal energy.
Let's see. Let's see.
Primal, baby.
So it's very much glitching out. It's as if there's a live video going, but it won't let me see it. And when I try to chat to see if it's actually the right video, it says an error has occurred.
Hi, Tina.
There we go.
So Tina's on via Twitch.
Want to say hi?
Greg's on via the table
Say hi to Tina.
through
Say, I
Twitch.
miss you. Up this way.
You don't really
Whoop.
like talking. I mean,
Up this way. Look, up here.
Yeah. Finnick, tell your favorite aunt that you miss her.
You're not going to look over there, are you? Hi. Let's go closer. I'm going to get her. Oh, no, not on that side. We're not. Ah. Boy, you're going to kill me.
Hello. It's the Finnick Ezekiel show.
Gotta look at the
This
camera.
is James. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this, bro? You seeing this?
Gotta look at the camera.
Aunt Tina says, hello, Mr. Finnick. I guess I should use her screen name. Zadie.
Why?
Zadie? Zadie
why would you
19.
do that?
Zadie says, hello, Mr. Finnick.
Why would you use your phone name?
So that, well, I mean, you have a screen name partially for the anonymity so that other users don't know your real name. Well, I should be using the screen names.
Well, it's just me and her right now, so it's good for everyone.
Well, but it's a recorded podcast that's then going to go out later.
Good point. So everybody's gonna know. You've ruined everything.
I've ruined it all. She's going to have to choose a new username now. Like maybe Zadie20.
Oh, no, can't do that now.
Zadie19.
19.
Can't do that now because you said it.
I wonder if anybody heard from Houston today.
So I've been trying. There's the Twitch emojis, but I can't find
Sup, Nims?
the dab cat one that Fuzzy Butt keeps using.
It's just fuzzy.
Okay. Fuzzy Butt's fun to say. What do you mean, not us?
Yeah. I said, what's up? And he said, not us. You're not up?
He hasn't heard from Houston.
Oh, you haven't heard from Houston.
Oh, that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Time delay.
So I can't find the dab cat.
It's right here.
Ha 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 ha. I want to use it,
Dab cat.
but I can't find it. We've got 3 viewers.
Oh, mine says 0.
Mine says 3. Here, instead of a dab cat, I'll put.
It's interesting. 3 viewers, so that would be you and Nooms and Zadie.
Billiam, call me before you leave. Noob says.
Do I have to?
Yes.
You mean leave your house?
Here. Instead of a dab cat, I'll settle for this. Send.
Is that a rainbow bill?
That's a nuke. With
Looks like a bullet bill, but rainbow tailed.
Would you send that on Twitch?
We're talking about emojis.
And I'll send you a Santa Claus as well. There you go.
Okay.
You can't clarify what you're talking about and then use the wrong word. Then it's not a clarification.
What?
Oh, I can't just boot you. I can block you or I can reply to you.
Why were you trying to boot me?
Because you're sending the emojis.
So? Emojis are fun. So rude.
I guess, from time to time.
I don't use them very much.
You just used 2 in a row.
Yeah?
One more and it's spam. Don't be spamming the chat. Like I said, we're a little early, so we got about 8 more minutes. Let everybody show up before we start actually
Be in a
talking.
moment, Gerg.
Before we actually start talking about, well, maybe the podcast, I don't know. Earlier we were talking about the Quran versus the Bible. Hi, James.
Yep.
Did I answer your question sufficiently earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I forgot why I don't wear jewelry. Now I remember.
Because babies like to play with jewelry.
What chocolates are in there?
If you guys eat up all their candy while they're not here, they're going to be upset when they
There's
get back.
M&M's.
They said that's the candy they don't want.
Oh, that's the candy they don't want?
There's
Except
M&M's.
Nooms
That's
was
the
the one that
chocolate.
was sitting there eating and filled up the whole thing last week.
Just because it was in front of them.
Pretty sure Tina told me that's what they get when they try to get
There
rid
is
of.
other chocolate in there. I can see it. It's pink and I want it.
It's not chocolate. It's that weird
Nooms
truffle
says,
thing.
please do not eat the candy.
Oh, I already ate some. Sorry. I'll put it back.
I think he's being facetious.
I was gonna say, I
It
think
is
he's
chocolate,
joking.
Gregory. It's pink.
Pink chocolate?
This package is pink.
White
Well,
chocolate.
I'll pull it.
And
Oh,
Zadie
yeah,
says,
eat all
yep,
of
eat
it.
all the
Eat
candy,
everything.
please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did you say this was not chocolate?
Because I thought it wasn't chocolate. I thought it was something else. I didn't know what it
He
was.
doesn't
I didn't
recognize
think
the
it was
name
chocolate.
Godiva.
You didn't know what it was, so you said it's not chocolate.
I didn't. It doesn't taste like chocolate, so I didn't think it was chocolate.
What do you mean it doesn't taste like chocolate? It's chocolate.
Finnick knows what it is. Oh, give me some of that.
I just said eat the candy.
Oh, please do eat the candy.
Oh, we all read do not.
My chocolate.
I read the wrong thing. Welcome, True Dark Knight. He had too much candy, lol.
Who? Who had too much candy?
Me?
Yes.
You?
Last week.
One True Dark Knight. You. You had too much candy.
Oh. When? Where? How? Why? These are my questions.
Okay. I like this guy. Comes in throwing shade. Opens with shade.
Even though I've only had one package of M&Ms and one Jolly Rancher that's still in my bag.
I'm sitting here if you want to.
And 2 or 3 pieces of pizza. And
That's not candy though.
James, did you want to move over here so that you're not just a head in the camera? He just backs up. Now I'm a nothing in the camera.
In moderation.
Yeah, you should eat everything in moderation.
She's not coming back.
Oh, not for a while, I guess.
What is everybody talking about?
They're talking on Twitch.
I don't have that. How do I get that?
How do you get Twitch?
It's an app.
It's not.
There's an app you can
You may
download.
have to create an account though.
They have an app for that.
What do you want?
Yeah, it doesn't take long to create an app
I want to be on that 15 minutes.
account.
Why are you touching it?
Lol, we can see him enough. Who?
She's talking about James.
Okay.
They can see James enough.
Because of the difference, I'm so confused on what
Yeah, but
people
then
are
there's just
trying
this
to talk
gap,
about.
you know? There's this like gap here. It's like the Oscars. You don't want to have any empty seats. Stop that. Go back to where you were.
Oh, my soda's empty.
Hey, James.
Hmm.
They can see your phone on the live stream.
I'm just playing Wordscape.
Okay. Make sure you keep it clean over there, man. They're looking at your phone. Don't be turning on episodes of The Witcher or Rick and Morty or he's too invested in the phone.
Who said that?
One True Dark Knight.
Oh, the live stream is frozen for me. Master News went offline.
Roxanne, who's Avery?
I'm gonna restart my app. What's wrong with Rick and Morty?
Uh-huh.
This chat's still working for me, but it says Master News went offline.
Well, technically nothing
That
is
was
wrong with Rick and Morty for adults. But more than adults have access to this live stream and then later video.
I don't like that if you restart the app, you can't see earlier chat posts.
So
my
Avery,
chat's completely-
you've joined us on Facebook. Thanks. Welcome. Roxanne's joining us on Facebook. Welcome.
Seriously, just ask me who is Avery?
Well, I meant, is there a name that was popping up that I don't know that she's using?
No, it just says Avery Bledsoe.
Well, it does now. Because she replied.
It said Avery Bledsoe is watching video.
Well, it didn't tell me that.
Okay.
Yes, I'm having a yell conversation with my wife who's in the other room,
Yep.
feeding our baby.
I wish I had that, so I could chat on that. I want to chat on that.
You want to chat on my laptop?
I want to chat on that app so I can see all the different chats.
Noom says, nope, we're still live. It's your phone, Greg. Maybe it's a sign that you should be in the moment.
Every time I type no, it changes it to Bo for some reason.
So is this a study channel? So this is a...
Oh wait, no, I didn't say no to you. I said no to news. Sorry.
Okay. So every Sunday night we release a podcast. And then the next Sunday we get together, a limited group of us, and we basically talk about the podcast. And the podcasts are scripture based, the Bible based, and sometimes we actually end up talking about the podcast that came out, and sometimes we end up talking about our favorite movies or whatever. You know, it's fellowship. We just get together and we fellowship, and we open it up with the live stream and the chat for anyone who wants to participate. All right, and if you stick around, you'll see some of that. So, will you go back in there now, please?
Never.
She never met a camera she didn't want to be in front of. Now, the channel itself belongs to Master Noobs on Twitch, and he does gaming and things like that. But hey, One True Dark Night, you're a minister. Neat. So on the channel, Master Noobs does gaming, video, things like this, but not very often. And then on Sunday nights, he's one of the elders of our church. He's one of the pastors for our church. And so we use his channel as part of our live stream. We're on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope and Twitch and VKontact and FC2 Live. And we're all over the place. All right. So first off, I want to start off with, so I was checking the stats from the podcasts this week, and we have the most listeners from Texas. Surprise, surprise. But coming in second worldwide, second place, is the state of Oregon. I was not expecting that. Right? The second most listens in the state of Oregon, coming in with a significant amount of listens over the last 10 days. And so shout out to Oregon, you're awesome. And then shout out to our new fans in Australia who have been listening. I think there's like one of you that's been listening, but you've been listening every week. Same in Ireland and the UK, and was it Ghana?
Is Fuzzy here?
Fuzzy's not on right now, not that he said. I think it was also Ghana. We've got a person that's listening regularly. So shout out to all you guys that are listening to the podcast all over the world, and hopefully we're growing and moving forward together. So this week's podcast was about having a healthy marriage. So basically the way I see it is, if you're married or you want to be one day, then this topic pertains to you. It's never too early or too late to be working on yourself, to become the kind of person that's going to be a good spouse. And there's some passage in the scripture that can really help us hone in on what those skills are. So usually we open this up, and does anybody have anything they want to say about the podcast? And James, you were writing some notes earlier. What notes did you write?
I was just talking about the where it says in the wives submit to the husbands as the Lord, because the husband's the head of the wife, as Christ is head of the church. And it's just how you're talking about later on in the podcast, how it's misinterpreted. And you can see that in some of the older generations on how the relationship works.
Yeah. Is that how?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so you can see the evidence of the imbalance there in that reading, when you're reading it that way. You can see the results on the effects of that marriage.
Yeah.
Where it's not healthy, it's not a balanced, I call it an ecosystem. A healthy marriage is like a balanced ecosystem. When you buy one of those little ecosystems and it's got its own like little water source and plants, and it's creating its own cycle, marriage is like that. And if things get out of whack, then suddenly you don't have a healthy marriage anymore. Yeah. So we can talk about that. Maybe.
Well, I'm not married, so.
You're not married, but do you want to be one day?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there's that whole passage in Ephesians 5, like you just said, about wives submit to your husbands, and hello, General Kenobi. Hey, Roxanne, we're getting feedback from the audio because you're listening so loudly. Can you turn that down some? Okay. One True Dark Knight says healthy marriages are based around God's will, which is a good point. It's impossible for us to talk about every aspect of a healthy marriage during a 10-minute podcast, obviously. But there is a certain amount of both members of the marriage submitting themselves to God's will so that they're not fighting each other, or the Bible puts it, it calls it being unequally yoked. So if one person's a believer and the other person's an atheist, then one person is pulling this way and the other one's pulling this way, and then the term's actually like a farming term when you have two ox on the same piece of wood to pull a plow. If one ox is big and strong and the other ox is little and weak, then they're unequally yoked. That wooden piece is a yoke, and the stronger one will be dragging the weak one along. Mm-hmm. So there has to be that God's will thing. But the first thing we talked about in the podcast, so we'll just come full circle. You bring something up and we'll cover it, and then we'll try to and we'll just go back and forth. So for years and years and years and years, they talked about the wife submitting to the husband, and I was taught that growing up. But when you really read what Paul writes, he always puts the most important things further down in the list. And so here he's done the same thing. The wife should submit. But then he goes on to say that the husband has to love the wife just as Christ loved the church. And when you go back and you look about what Christ did when he was here and how he loved the church, I like what Master Nooms says sometimes when people talk about, you should be Christ-like. He always says, well, if I'm going to be Christ-like, then there's a chance that I'm going to weave together some grass into a whip and start beating people. And it's true. I mean, Christ, that's one of the things Christ did, more or less, in defense of the church. The church, the big capital T, capital C, that is all believers. When he showed up and they were selling sacrifices and exchanging, so basically when you would pay your tithe back then and pay your offerings, there was actually a temple denarii that you would have to have. And what these people were doing was they had some temple denarii and they would sell them to the people that were coming, but the exchange rate was made to a point where it wasn't a one-to-one trade. They were making a profit off of it. And instead of, bringing a spotless sacrifice that you were supposed to bring, they were coming and they were buying these sacrifices, but the people were then selling them for more than they should have had to pay for them. And so there's this whole thing where these people had infiltrated, the temple then, but is the precursor of the church. And Jesus, he on a Passover, he finds this happening. The first time, he takes some rushes, some long pieces of grass from a wet area, and he waves them into a whip, and he goes in and starts flipping tables and beating people with a whip. The second time is in a later Passover, and he does it without the whip. So this is kind of a good sign as far as we talk about being pro-life and supporting life and not being violent, but this is a good example of, in defense of your family, in defense of your wife, there is a certain point where flipping tables and hitting people with a whip, getting physical to defend, to be a good steward of, to be to walk in that side of love is appropriate, And I think that's a good example. Okay, 6:30.
9.
We're 9 minutes in. That's awesome.
So something else that I somewhere. It's down here. It's talking about wives have different needs than husbands, and husbands have different needs than wives. But you should both be taking care of each other. Like, that, there's got to be communication in that.
There's got to be. I didn't want any root beer tonight, but thank you. There's got to be a lot of communication. You know, because if you just expect your spouse to know what you need and want, then you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to know.
Yeah.
Because I see the world one way and my wife sees the world a different way, and those aren't the same thing. And we constantly have that conversation where it's like, well, I expected this, and I'm like,
Expectations.
we've only been married for 14 years. I didn't know you expected that. You need to tell me if you want something.
Only been married for 14 years.
Exactly.
Only
14. It's only been 14 years. I can't read your mind yet. So there's got to be a certain amount of expectation, you know, or not expectation, but a certain amount of honesty and vulnerability and communication. You can't just expect the other person to know what you want and what you need. And so we're going to mark this. Well, these conversations are always marked on YouTube as not suitable for children. So, but we're going to have just a precursor now that the rest of this conversation, sex might come up. So if you're under 13, please turn off the video.
I'm 13.
If your kids are in the room and you don't want them to be hearing about sex, then you should probably have them leave the room. Master Nooms says communication is always key in all relationships, and he's right. Not just marriage relationships. You know, if you're not communicating, then you know.
Yeah.
The relationship's going to suffer in the workplace, in a friendship, everywhere.
That's why I brought that up, because I know just being in a relationship as boyfriend girlfriend, there's no communication, there will be no marriage.
Yeah. And imagine when the stakes get higher and you are married.
Yeah.
You know? Like, whew. My wife and I always joke that, I can't remember where we got it. We got it from somewhere, but we always joke that if one of us leaves the other one, then the other one's just going to go with them. So if she leaves me, I'm just going to go with her. So she's stuck. And same thing, you know, if I leave her, she's just going to go with me. And we've done that before, like, not left each other, but we were having a fight and we did the whole, you know, I grabbed my pillow and my covers and I was going to go sleep on the couch and I'm mad and you just need to let me storm off and be mad. And she grabbed her pillow and her covers and she followed me and got on the couch with me, and I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work. You're not going to let me storm off and be mad. She's like, nope. If you're going to the couch, I'm going to the couch.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, I sure am. In the best light possible.
Good.
So, Master Nooms says, wait, James has a girlfriend?
No.
Not anymore.
Past relationships.
Past tense.
Ah.
Yeah.
Past experiences.
Zadie says, yeah, James, you got some explaining to do. Accent my own, of course, because it's text. So.
Yeah.
She's back. Oh, is this like?
Oh, the pepper sleeping.
Oh, excuse you, Greg. Good gravy. What were we talking about? Oh, sex. So, I heard somewhere, I don't remember where it was, but it says, Greg, focus on your dad, not the chat. I heard somewhere that women need a minimum of, I think it was 4 non-sexual touches a day. So, like, holding their hand or touching their shoulder or, you know, something that just communicates general love with no expectation of getting busy, you know? Whereas men, if you don't touch me all day, I'm probably still okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't necessarily need non-sexual touch. Except, obviously, from my kids. I need a hug from my kids every day.
Yeah.
I need that, you know? And this one, I don't have to worry about that. He's, you know, emotionally driven. And this one, I don't have to worry about that because she's more emotionally plagued than anything else. said that you're emotionally plagued, meaning you are overwhelmed by your emotions. Anyway, but then my 5-year-old is just like, she's this practical. I mean, she'll get out of bed and she'll just be like, "Hey, Dad." No hug, no good morning, no I love you. I have to remind her. I need hugs. I need kisses. I need you to tell me you love me. But she can go days without. She don't need it. She just don't care. She don't need that. And I'm like, come on. But for my wife, I don't need those touches, you know? Now I do need the other stuff. Now that my 9-year-old's in the room, I gotta watch my targets. They're having this whole thing back and forth on Twitch. Nooms is like, no hugs, no kisses, only pats on the head, head pats, and Zadie's like, there are friendly kisses, like the cultures that kiss on the cheek as a greeting.
Yeah,
French, Hebrew.
Hispanics.
Okay, you guys, stop having your own private little conversation on Twitch. You're probably even in the same room.
Probably.
You're probably sitting next to each other. Come on, guys. Why are you telling me?
Okay, bye.
About to get yourself kicked. Why are you on separate sides of the house, Nooms? That's weird.
They've been spending too much time together
I guess.
since he's not working.
He's not working and they're on a road trip. Okay. So.
So?
Sex.
I tried to be a part of it while I was in the other room.
But it was too loud.
I got yelled at.
It was too loud. They could hear you through this speaker. There was an echo going on.
I was trying to drown y'all out.
Mock you? Zadie, I would never mock you. I would mock your husband. But I would never mock you, sweetheart. Okay. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, now, I was going to say apparently, but that's not the right word.
Yeah.
It seems like the church in Corinth got a little too free with their religious freedom. Nooms is going to ban you from his channel on Twitch if you don't put that phone down.
I am paying attention.
Lock the phone and put it down before you get banned.
I'm reading this so I can, and listening to him so I can know all of the conversation that's happening. That's what's happening. I'm listening to him and reading this so I know everything that's happening.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. So apparently they'd taken their freedom a little too far. And there was a lot of sexual immorality going on. And Paul was like, now, honestly, that's not really healthy. You guys, husbands should be taking care of that with their wives. Wives should be taking care of that with their husbands. And then he goes on to elaborate that husbands don't own their bodies anymore. Their body belongs to their wife when they get married. I'm yours. This is your possession. And if you'd taken better care of it, my belly wouldn't be so big. How dare you feed me all those sweets?
So is my carpal tunnel your fault?
Yes.
Not
Well,
my
isn't
mother's?
that-
No,
isn't
but
that
it's my
hereditary?
responsibility to try to get you to the doctor to see it if I can. What were you saying?
Isn't that hereditary?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
My
carpal tunnel
mom's got it real
too.
bad.
Yeah, my mom did.
And then I got hit by that car, so now my hand's been
My mom
hurting.
can't hold the babies for very long.
Yeah.
It's been a month and my hand's still aching. So her body belongs to me. and my body belongs to her. And not in the slavery kind of way, but you about to say something dirty? Your poops?
Oh my god.
Is that yours?
I don't want your poops.
You can have them.
I'm gonna start leaving you at home. You and Finnick. Sunday nights.
So did she have some white stuff before she came over here?
White stuff.
You mean breast milk?
No. Last week there was white powder on the chair. Remember that? And we're saying that's why she's so hyper.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was though.
Alright, so this is important because in the culture we live in today, there's talk of, like, well, she can't satisfy me and I have needs, so I'm gonna go find my needs somewhere else. And women saying the same thing about their husbands, except you should really be trying to find a way to make that work. You know what I mean? And then you have people having sex before marriage, which sex is a wonderful thing. It honestly is. And I don't think God would begrudge anyone being able to have sex. I think there's an appropriate level of relationship that should exist beforehand. And I think that certain safety measures should be taken to prevent from STDs, to prevent from pregnancy, to, you know what I mean, to actually be safe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, we were just talking about that one thing, that one app. What's the one app? That app. Tinder. I don't think Tinder's a good idea. I think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a bad
for everybody. Grindr too. I don't think that's a good way to find a healthy relationship.
No.
Anything where you're just talking about a one night stand or a, just a Mr. or Mrs. right now, not a forever. That's a problem. That this kind of intimacy should be with someone that you're willing to spend some time with, to put some real effort into that relationship. Now, am I going to sit here and say you can't have sex outside of marriage ever in any setting? I think that would be, what's the word? Asinine?
Okay.
I think that would be asinine. I think if we even go and look at the Bible, we don't see a lot of evidence of any of the fathers of the faith doing that. Right? Like, we'll make them the example for everything else except for sex. Like, well, yeah, because they didn't fit with the puritanical view of sex that has infiltrated the church. Sex is a healthy expression of intimate relationship between two people that are committed to each other. Now, once you're in that committed relationship, then things can get fun. But we won't talk about the fun parts. For the fun parts, I'll hand you over to Master Nooms. He'll be having a seminar when he gets back, all about the fun. No, he's not going to do that. He's really not. I can just imagine the look on his face right now when he's watching the live stream. And I'm announcing his... he's got all these things he's going to show you from his closet. It'd be great. No, but that kind of thing...
It's called what's it called?
A ball gag?
No, the thing he sleeps with.
Oh, it's a CPAP machine.
He's going to show you a CPAP machine.
ball gag.
Oh, dang.
Oh, Sam.
You embarrassed yourself.
The thing.
That's on his face.
The thing.
When we're talking about things in the closet, it's funny
It's a
that.
CPAP machine. Oh, it's extra scratch. Oh, good lord. Are you okay?
That's too much much information, Nims. I'm not gonna read that out loud. That's too much information.
I want to know.
You want to know? You get on Twitch and you find it out.
It won't let me see. Oh,
Okay, so to wrap all that up, husbands should be taking care of the wives' needs, and husbands only know those needs if the wife communicates. And wives should be taking care of the husband's needs, and wives only know what those needs are because the husband communicates. How many years was it that we were married before I told you that Jesse from Team Rocket would be a great costume for you to invest in? 10 years. 10 years before I communicated, hey, there's just one character, but it'd be great if you dressed up as this character. Yeah, you gotta communicate. Because if you don't communicate, then the other person doesn't know. Unless they're a psychic. True psychics are few and far in between. And I can almost guarantee that everyone watching this video doesn't actually know one. Almost guarantee. Almost. Alright. So my wife immediately got on to me when she was listening to the podcast for this last paragraph here. It says, in closing, let's borrow some wisdom from Proverbs 25, verse 24. Better to live on the corner of a roof than to share a house with a contentious spouse. Except that's not what the verse actually says. It says nagging wife. But like I said, we can borrow. We're just going to borrow from it. And say contentious spouse. Because if you're fighting with your spouse, if you are picking fights, if you are looking for conflict, then you're doing it wrong. Right? Would you like me to be contentious?
Yeah.
So when I put that here in the thing, I put CSB-ish. CSB-ish.
I was wondering what that.
Bish.
CSB is bish. CS-bish. So CSB is the translation that we use, and then I put ish because it's kind of like it, but it's not quite. It's CSB adjacent because I edited it. How many people are on Twitch right now?
3.
3. Yeah,
So
I think we
me
lost
and-
we lost one True Dark Knight, one whatever his name is.
Zadie. That's her name.
One True Dark Knight. I think we lost him back somewhere back where we started talking about James's girlfriend.
The one that he doesn't have?
Oh yeah. And that's fine. The way we do things doesn't appeal to everyone.
Could have done it in another room or another time. That was yours. Where's mine?
Yours is right here, baby.
No, we were doing.
I don't like things that are birthday cake flavored.
I just made that one of them.
Alright, so does anybody else have anything they want to say about a healthy marriage or preparing for a healthy marriage or...
Nope.
James is prepared to have a healthy marriage one day.
Have you been married?
Mm-mm.
But he does want to be. You want to be. Sorry. It just came out. No, I don't think James is a wannabe. I think James is a James. He seems pretty solid in who he is. Right? You're solid in being who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not a wannabe. You're staring at me. I don't know if I've said the right thing or not. Don't stare at me.
You have not.
I have not said the right thing. I'm always afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing to somebody and they're just going to be like, you're dirt. And then never come around again. And I'll be like, Oh, I dirted them away.
Dirted them.
Is that like eating?
Oh my gosh, Roxanne. You said yeet.
You said dirt.
Yes,
What?
dirt is a normal, everyday word that exists.
So is yeet. No.
It's a made-up sound.
Oh, well, it's a word
Yeet.
now.
Wait.
I hope you don't find that in anything other than the Urban Dictionary.
How do you spell dictionary?
Look it up in the dictionary.
Nooms and Zadie both say they're staring at me too. It's not just James staring at me. It's Nooms and Zadie as well. So we got about 30 more minutes of airtime here.
Well, let's all just stand here and watch Bill dance his face.
Dance my face.
Alright, I went to dictionary.com and searched
Say that
yeet.
Say that again.
I went to dictionary.com,
Okay.
searched for yeet, and got results. Yeet. Yeet is an exclamation of excitement, approval, surprise, or all around energy. Often
That was an action.
often as issued when doing a dance move or throwing something.
Throwing something. I thought it was just the throwing something.
Examples of yeet.
Yes, give us examples of yeet. I wish to hear this. Why are you not reading it?
Why are most of these have like bad words in them and stuff?
Give it
It
to me.
doesn't. Wait, no, I just read everything wrong.
Okay.
You read everything wrong.
I read everything wrong. Wait.
I guess I should stop trusting you with the dictionary.
Why?
Because you just read everything wrong.
Being a fish must be so terrifying. Like, imagine finding a delicious, tasty treat, and when you go to eat it, God's just like, yeet, and you're yanked up into the sky.
That's a throwing
I
sensation.
thought that was yoke was yanking.
Oh, that's yoink.
Yoink.
You're yeeted up into the sky, though.
You can't be yeeted up. You can be yoinked.
So is that where the word yeet came from? Somebody said, what's the opposite of yoink?
And someone said yeet. No, yote is the past tense of yeet.
Was yoded?
Yote.
Is that
It's
something
just yote.
Yoda does?
Like, I yote it. That's the past tense. That's what everybody said is the past tenses.
I did yode it. I have yoted it.
There's no id.
I will yote.
I will yote it.
Apparently it's a dance move. It was a dance move first.
Yeah.
What is the dance move? Nobody knows? Look it
We're
up.
all about
You have my-
TikTok. You've probably seen it.
Maybe.
I was like, where is my phone? Oh. Yeet is a word. It's in the dictionary. It's a word. It's there. Yeet. Why have you suddenly changed sitting positions?
Just looking at the dance. That's not a dance move. That's a, I don't want to move too much. Move.
Do I tell it to play again?
No. I can't see it because you're moving. It's like a barely, it's not a,
Noom says, alindictionary.com does not mean in the dictionary.
when was the last time a dictionary was printed?
27 seconds ago.
And a new updated version of the dictionary.
They had words, officially had words to the dictionary every year.
Sometime in 2019 there was a new one. And was it
Should've been.
before or after yeet? How long has yeet been a word?
I don't like where this is going.
Yeet!
What? That is not how you pronounce yeet. Yeet.
Yeet!
I like it.
Yeet!
Yeet.
You're such a yeeter.
Yeet!
Well, they're like, ooh, what are you watching? It's an advertisement.
There's an ad.
An ad on a live video. That's not fair. I have gotten them before, but it's so not fair. You try to open up a live video to get into it as quick as you can, and an ad plays. You're like,
I don't see anything about a flash flood warning for here. Do you guys see anything about a flash flood warning for here?
Who said flash flood warning? When? Where? How?
See, they're not doing the same. So, which of those dance moves is a yeet?
Why are you stealing my phone?
Is it the style?
Oh, I think it's that thing. Where they just like, yeah.
He's wearing a diaper.
Is it the rapper Da Baby? That would make sense.
Yeah,
wearing
it's,
no diaper.
everything is just like, it's that one thing. Oh.
Do you not have a weather app, Greg?
Do I not?
Do you not?
Do I not?
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
How do you not know if you have a weather app?
I don't
You
know.
have an app called Potato.
Why?
He's messing around with Miranda.
It says Potato.
Does the potato
It's a
Oh my
shortcut for this
gosh.
game.
It's a folder of pictures of potatoes.
Why?
For fun.
That link
I
to a
was-
game called Action
I
Potato.
was messing around with Miranda.
Action Potato.
Action potato.
Action Irish Avocado.
Why are there Skittles in here? There were no such thing as Skittles in here earlier, and now they've ruined it with Skittles. Now it's ruined.
Yeah, so the Quran and the Bible aren't the same thing. They're two totally different things. We gotta rein this back in somehow.
Somehow.
We got off on yeeting.
Yeet. Yeet.
There's this video that comes across Facebook from time to time. As people play this game called Eat It or Eat It.
Eat it or eat it.
Eat it or eat it. That's fun. We got just random foods, and then they have to eat it, and then they see if they're gonna eat it after they eat it.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Do we listen to heavy metal?
Sometimes.
Asks
Sometimes.
40 Bellow Summer.
I do.
I do sometimes.
James listens to
Sometimes.
heavy metal.
What is
No, I mean, when Mom
How do
plays
you
it.
classify System of a Down? I don't know what that is.
That's just metal.
Okay. I guess I don't really listen to heavy metal. Then I
There's
just
a lot of
listen
subgenres.
to metal. Like Korn. No.
Master Noom says he doesn't listen to heavy metal, but Master Noom doesn't, but not everyone. I don't know, it doesn't make sense.
Disturbed's not metal either. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's just wrong.
Disturbed's like hard rock.
Okay, so I don't listen to heavy metal.
Oh, Master Nooms does listen to heavy metal, but not everyone here listens to heavy metal. At least it's just on the Twitch chat, not on the live
I'm not
stream.
I'm joining so I can start seeing what he's saying.
He called his fingers fat.
Well,
That's what he did. He called his fingers fat.
fat donkey.
I got some fat donkey fingers.
Fat donkey fingers.
I liked his better.
40 Bellow Summer is giving you a shout out, James. I think that's what that is. Oh, are you on it now?
Yeah, he said man with the cap.
Yeah, you're
Well,
you're the only one wearing a cap.
Oh yeah.
Said hi. Say hi. You have to say hi now on the chat.
Because you said you listen to heavy metal. So he's like,
Shut up.
and Master Noom said he does too. So he's like, Master, my man. And a man with the cap. Or she. I don't know who 40 Bello. Could be a guy, could be a girl. You never know.
Don't gender me, and I won't gender you.
Right.
Yeah, no genders. We can't talk genders.
There are genders.
Not nowadays.
My gender is elephant.
I don't think elephant's a gender.
Maybe.
No, apparently we're cis.
Cisgendered, yeah.
Cisgendered, yeah. That's what we were assigned at birth.
The gender that you are physically born with is known as, if you agree with that, it's called cisgender. Cisgendered. You can be a cisgendered male, you can be a cisgendered female.
I keep hearing gingered
Gingered.
instead of gendered.
I saw this joke on, well, it was on TikTok. Oh. You put us into low power mode. Just put close. Don't push low power mode. Put close. Okay, sorry about that delay there. We should be coming back now any second. Okay. Now we're back. So I saw this joke on TikTok. And it goes, why did God make colorblind people?
I don't know if I want to hear that. What's your joke?
Why?
Because there needed to be someone who would love gingers.
Oh.
Go tell that joke to your daughter.
I'm not going to tell that joke to my ginger daughter. It's a joke I saw on TikTok. I didn't make it up.
Well, you repeated it, so.
I did repeat it.
Give it clout. You reacted. You, what's the other one?
Noom says, okay, Redbeard.
What's the other one? You duetted it.
40 Bellow Summer says, so is this some kind of family reunion? No, this is our fellowship church service where we get together and we fellowship, and we talked about a podcast about biblical stuff earlier in the live stream, and we get together every week and talk about different biblical topics, and then, you know, we hang out. We don't spend the whole time talking about it. We fellowship. We spend time together.
8 viewers.
8 viewers.
TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
On Twitch?
So
on Twitch.
Who's Redbeard?
I guess I'm Redbeard.
You have
When he
red
gets
skin.
longer, it's reddish.
Yeah.
Especially in the sunlight. Because I'm
Yeah.
Irish. On both sides of my family, I'm Irish.
Indeed.
So, one side of the family were Irish horse thieves, and the other side of the family were Irish Scotsmen. So,
I thought we were royalty.
that's what Aunt Bobby keeps saying, but I haven't seen any evidence. I just ordered a DNA kit though. That'll be fun.
Fancy.
Fancy. Mr. Potato Redbeard.
Yes.
That's Mr. Irish Avocado Redbeard. Thank you very much.
I don't like this avocado.
Avocage.
See, it started
Avocage.
because mashed potatoes are just Irish guacamole. There's the backstory. There you go.
What?
Makes no sense.
You don't like the Irish avocado thing? Why not?
No, Daddy.
I don't like it.
Just. I don't know.
You like
Stop it with
avocados
the
or you
bro.
like Irish.
I don't like the fact that he keeps calling them Irish.
Why should I stop it with the Irish, whatever you said?
Too weird.
What do you hate, Nooms? Do you hate his Irish brogue, or do you hate us calling potatoes Irish avocados?
Both, probably.
Because he says, nope, I hate it as well.
I think you agree with Roxanne.
He's agreeing with Roxanne?
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the first year of our marriage, they wouldn't agree on anything. And now they agree all the time, and I'm like, what's going on here, guys?
That's okay.
We've
He
now
could've loved
gone
me.
back.
You
True.
know.
We've now gone down by 3 viewers, and now we're at 5 viewers again.
Cool.
Well, 4 of us are with the church. I'm on there. Cause he kept laughing and stuff, so I was like, I'm
There's
missing out
one
on
of
something.
yours.
Well, when Noom says things that I can't repeat on the
Yeah.
live stream, and I'm like, sorry guys, I can't tell you what he said.
Yeah, that's why. This is like, so I can read it now.
Yeah, you can read it. We get more visitors on Twitch than we ever did at El Chico.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did he start the Twitch thing? When we started coming here?
Yeah.
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 Moon says he does nothing of the sort.
Stop that.
Why?
What you
It's
do?
not good.
Why?
You do nothing what of the sort, Nooms? I don't understand.
Why should I stop it, Mom?
Because you
Yeah,
were
reason.
told to by both of your parents, who know where you sleep.
But I was never given a reason.
Because it's not good.
If you want to wake up in the morning with all that hair on top of your head still,
I never say anything bad news says.
so right. So the other day, Gregory goes, Miranda, you didn't get me a Christmas present. And I looked at him and I said, did you wake up Christmas morning without a knife in your chest? Yes. I said, Merry Christmas from your sister.
That's great.
Ha!
No. Yes.
No. Ha! Yes. Okay. No,
I mean, I know
don't
we're streaming on Twitch, but that doesn't mean you have to play games on your phone while we're streaming.
So, what do you have to say about the podcast, Roxanne?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have any input.
I did.
I didn't hear
I
it.
said that that's not what the Bible said, and you shouldn't be saying stuff the Bible didn't say.
Oh, well, we already talked about that. Something
Yeah.
else in the
I
rest
can't
of the
say
podcast.
anything the Bible doesn't say. I'm gonna have a hard time getting people to turn the TV on or change the volume or
Let's see, what else did I say?
driving a car, eating pizza.
Tell me I can have my poop.
Yeah, I heard that.
I was actually on the toilet pooping for that, so that was fancy.
Is Mocklin divorce a good defense in court?
No,
I don't know if it is.
you're gonna behead me.
Well, I don't have to behead you. I can just stab you. Noom says yes. Noom says Mocklin divorce is a good defense in court. I'm not sure I believe
Oh,
you.
if that's a good defense, and I could just say you ran into my knife. You ran into my knife 7 times, 9 times, however many times it was. You ran into my knife.
Okay, you're my knife.
You ran into my knife 12 times.
Your number keeps going up. Is he still running into your knife?
That's annoying me. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Noom says Mocklin divorce is the only kind of divorce allowed in his family.
Mm.
Ooh.
Make it stop.
I don't know how. I don't even understand what it's doing.
Move the cup.
Move the cup.
No.
Like some RFID. That's probably not the right thing. Interference from the cup.
It's what?
That's from the other app, right? So open the other
It
app.
did something like that last week, didn't it?
No, go back to what.
Minus the flashing.
I mean, it is a beta program, so it's not like they've got all the bugs out, but
Yeah.
there we go.
I'm never gonna sleep tonight.
Except, I got it to work, except now there's just a blank spot in the chat. Restream, I would like for you to stop updating your chat client, because every time you do, I have issues. Oh man, Mocklin divorce, that's crazy. So it's from the Orville. It's
Sounds
Seth MacFarlane's
Star Trek.
ode to Star Trek.
Okay.
So it's a sci-fi spaceship show.
It says it's a comedy, but that's not very funny.
Well, the first season was a comedy, and then I think they realized people actually like it, and so it stopped being a comedy, and then some people stopped liking it. And it's on Hulu if you want to go watch it.
Alright.
Do you want to go watch it? We can go watch it right now if you want.
No, thank you.
Nooms thinks it's still funny.
Yeah.
Of course he would. It's your kind of humor.
It's not punny.
And Zadie says it's great.
Is it funny?
I don't think so.
It's kind of slow for me.
I think the Mocklins are the most entertaining part in the whole thing.
The Mocklin is his security officer, right?
The Mocklin is the security officer, yeah, that comes from a race
That's all men.
of, well, 99% men. They made it a law on their planet that they would all be men, and if someone was born a woman, then they would medically change them into a man, and they lay eggs to procreate. Can you hit something on there? Cancel, close, whatever that button is.
Are you gonna tell Mama what Noom said?
So. Now remember, you're logged in as James, so don't be typing back.
No, she's typing back.
No, people are gonna see that it says it's from James.
I don't care.
Here, you can do it on mine. Okay. I'm in your house. I'm in your house.
And there's a bag of cat crap in the laundry.
I cleaned the litter box.
Go there.
I cleaned the litter box, by the way. You're welcome.
He said he loved you.
Let's just hope you took your CPAP machine with you.
That's a good idea, Bill. Thank you.
So cold.
That's worse than the idea I had.
He took it with him. So. Where'd Finnick go?
He's asleep
Where?
in the girls' room.
I thought he was asleep on the mat there.
No, he's asleep in the girls' room.
Okay. So my phone's at less than 10%, so we're going to have to wrap this up. The long and short of it is... What?
Can I press the button?
I'm still talking.
Okay.
So the long and short of it is, if you're married or if you want to be married one day, then become the kind of person worthy of the spouse that you want. The woman's body belongs to the husband's body belongs to the woman, but neither one of them are slaves of either one. That's not how this is supposed to work. The man should love the wife and take care of the wife like Christ did the church. If he is, then the wife can submit to the husband as to the Lord. Because the husband's the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. But if the husband isn't loving the wife, if the husband isn't defending the wife, if the husband isn't doing his part that is listed as seen as more important by Paul, then the wife is released from all that. So don't take scripture as an excuse for abuse. It's not. Have healthy marriages. Be a healthy person in regards to relationships.
It's Kale.
And
Me.
Oh.
don't use Tinder or Grindr because those aren't healthy relationship building moments.
Nope, not at all.
And we'll see you next week.